In this video, I present to you a tarot tag twofer, combining Jonathan Dailey's tag Last 10 decks and a tag of my own, New Decks 2023. Let's do it. Today is Saturday, December 30th. I'm hoping to have this out by tomorrow, New Year's Eve, on the 31st. I did a video last year that I posted on New Year's Eve where I just went through the decks that came into my life in 2022, and I called it New Decks 2022. So I'm going to do a repeat of that for 2023. I'm combining it with Jonathan's tag because the number of decks that happened to enter my library this year is 10. So serendipitous. Over my winter break, one of the things I enjoyed doing the most was watching a lot of the Last 10 Decks VRs that have been going around. The tag's been around for a little while, but VRs pop up like semi-regularly just because it's a very evergreen tag. It's always good. So I figured I would just add my own to this and combine it with the decks I got this year. I will be showing the decks in chronological order from January to December. There is a mix of tarot and oracle. I didn't bring any decks of any other systems in this year, so no new Lenormand or Kipper or playing cards or anything like that. So tarot and oracle. If I counted correctly, I think I'd have to, I didn't bring my notebook. I think it might be an even split, 5 tarot, 5 oracle. If that's wrong, I'll correct it right here. Might be a good time, since I'm here, to just go ahead and front load everybody with the fact that in 2024, you're probably going to be seeing, at least in the beginning of the year, a lot of car content from me where I'm filming in my car as I am now. The car has become the new shower, metaphorically, of course. The shower has always been, shall we say, my place of inspiration. You know, people throw that around like it's, kind of cliche where, oh, I got the idea in the shower, just because, but it's kind of true, just because when you're in the shower, you have this bit of a routine where you're just kind of going through the motions and zoning out a little bit. And that's a good time, in my experience, for inspiration to pop up. And I'm finding when I'm in the car, it's not that I zone out in the car, I don't, but on, like, when I go to the town an hour away to run errands and get provisions, it's just, I've done that drive so many times that it's very much second nature. And during that time, that is when I've been getting my flashes of insight, not just for content, but for a lot of other things. So the car is probably going to be a frequent occurrence in 2024. And I think it's only fitting, just because I filmed my first video in the car, and it's just a convenient place to be. And, you can see nature behind me. And I live in such a beautiful place that I think it would be fun to go to a bunch of the different places that I love in my homeland and do some car contemplation. Maybe I'll even switch the angle up where I film it from like the back of my hatch or something like that. But yeah, the car is probably going to be a regular thing. So just front loading you with that right now. Now I'll show you some decks, because I'm sure that's why you're here. Here we go. My first deck of 2023, and the only deck I acquired in January, is the Secret Tarot, which is an older tarot produced by Lo Scarabeo. I have the newer printing, the newer edition. The older edition was kind of typical Lo Scarabeo, that had the various languages at the top and bottom, and this newer printing does not have that, and the backs are different as well. This tarot was my first interaction with tarot. Not this deck, but a copy of this that actually wasn't mine, but I still have, but I just don't use. This deck also has one of my favorite things, which are colored borders that distinguish the suits and the majors. So the majors were that gray color, the swords are that purple color, the wands are sort of that peachy color, the coins are a bit of a yellow, kind of a beige, neutral yellow color, and the cups are a lighter blue. I love these variances in color, especially in a large spread, because visually it's really easy to tell kind of what energies you have in particular places. I posted a video earlier in 2023 where I went more into detail about my experience with this tarot and how I really wanted to bring in a copy of my own, and so I decided I'd go ahead and start 2023 out with my own copy of The Secret Tarot. It's really quirky and sort of somewhat unusual artwork. It's sort of traditional. There is some RWS influence. That Eight of Swords is one of my favorite Eight of Swords. There's an RWS nod there, but it's a little bit different. There's also some Marseille, and that Sun card in particular, there was some Marseille influence. So it's kind of comic booky and otherworldly, and it's just an interesting deck, and I'm taking my time with it. And I've really enjoyed having it in my library. So this was my first deck of 2023, The Secret Tarot, published by Los Scarabeo. The one and only deck I brought in during February was actually a gift from the lovely Jess of Jess Reads Cards, who hasn't posted anything in quite a while, and I miss her. Jess, if you see this, I miss you, and I hope you're well. This is the lovely Earthbound Oracle by Skull Garden. They also are the creators of the Wooden Tarot and the Seeker's Lenormand. This had been on my list for quite some time, and in another video previous I mentioned how I was kind of bummed that I missed this before it went out of print, and I got an email from Jess, and she had a spare copy and she wanted to send it to me, which I just thought was amazing and so generous. And so I got this in the mail a few days later. There are element cards and this the moon and the sun card, and it's just got really great, simple, basic keywords, and it's a really nice little oracle, nice little size, and I love it. Earthbound Oracle. My one deck for June was the Kickstarter that I actually backed in March, and it is a tarot deck. This is the Rain Shadow Tarot by Claire Mack, who is also the creator of the Illuminated Earth Oracle and the Faceted Garden Oracle. This is the one and only Kickstarter that I backed in 2023. This deck was a semi-regular feature on my channel over the course of 2023. I'll try to remember to link the videos that I featured this deck in. I love Claire's work. She and I live in the same region, and I really resonate and connect with the work that she does. And when I heard this was coming out, I knew I was going to back it immediately, pretty much sight unseen. That's not normally me, but I definitely made an exception for this one just because I appreciate her work very much. There's a lot of RWS influence but some of the minors are also quite pippish. It's a beautiful deck. It's got a lot of layers. I've had a pretty deep connection with it this year, and that is the Rain Shadow Tarot by Claire Mack. My one deck for July was an indie oracle, and that is the Soul Trees Ascension deck by Allison Williams Yee of Soul Trees Art. I have her original Soul Trees deck, and it's one of my absolute favorites. And I got an email from her in July saying she was having a sale in her shop, and she had some imperfect copies of this deck marked down to just a crazy low price, and I just decided why not, and I went ahead and picked it up. I love the original Oracle so much, and this one kind of grabbed my attention just because it's definitely her work, but it's a little bit different than the original deck, energetically speaking. For me, it's a little more abstract, and there's a bit more nuance. I feel her original Oracle is a little bit more straightforward. As far as the art, there's a bit more texture and movement and layering going on with this one. And I've had a thought maybe that I would combine them just because I think it would work. They're the same size and it's the same creator, and I think they'd go together pretty seamlessly. But energetically, they are a bit different, and I might actually keep them apart. I haven't decided yet. That deck on the right is the original, and I have the original box, the one that reminds me of a jewelry box that I like a lot. Each of these decks has 80 cards, and that's another reason I'm hesitant to combine them, just because that would be a 160 card deck, and I don't know if I'd actually be able to handle that, but we'll see. So that's my July deck, Soul Trees Ascension. September was a bit of an exciting tarot month for me. Firstly, because I got to scratch a vintage tarot off of my wish list. This is the 1980s tuck box edition of the Aquarian Tarot, published by Morgan Press. With that Dobbs Ferry, New York address. I had wanted a vintage Aquarian for quite some time. I do have a copy of the readily available one from US Games with the white border on the back. And I really do like the Aquarian, very RWS based deck. The insert has definitely seen better days, but I love it so much just because it's so worn in and vintage looking, and it's really great. Here are those backs. No white border on these like there is on the newer edition. The cardstock on this edition is almost a little bit more cardboardy. It's a lot heavier. It handles really nicely, and there is no copyright on the bottom right there on the older editions, like there is on the newer edition. Size wise, this one is slightly larger than the readily available copy. I think the newer printing is a little bit shorter. I can't remember if it's shorter or more narrow, but this older edition is slightly bigger, but not by much. Oh, this is a David Palladini deck. I don't think I mentioned that. I really like the Art Deco feel that this one has. And I've said it before, RWS decks, not my favorite, but every once in a while there is one that just kind of grabs my heart and and this is one of those, and I'm just so thrilled to have this one in my library. Once again, this is the 1980s tuck box edition of the Aquarian Tarot by David Palladini. And the second tarot for September is one I'm probably not going to talk overly at length about here because this has been a semi-regular feature on my channel. This is Tarot for the Great Outdoors, published by Skipstone. This is mass market. It was released this year. I'm not going to talk about the cardstock because a lot of other people have already done that, so I think I'm just going to let you admire the images. But firstly, I'll just review really quickly that the major arcana, each of the 22 major arcana is associated with an American national park, as you see here with the Magician. And then the numbered minors are depict activities that can be done in these locations. I've had a lot of fun and deep connection with this deck since I've had it, and I really like it personally. So that was my second September Tarot for the Great Outdoors. My November deck is one that I picked up kind of on a whim because I was very intrigued by both the art and the concept. This is the Outdoor Oracle, published by A Nature Unknown, which is a husband and wife illustrator duet, I suppose. They're based out of Oregon. I've seen a few independent shops online carry this, but I ordered directly from their website. As of now, it is $18 US. I did get it on a bit of a sale for $15 US around just before Black Friday time. This is a 54 card deck, and it's broken up into sort of a major and a minor arcana. The major merits consist of hunter, gatherer, adventurer, and angler. And then the minors consist of several different activities that you can, or merits that you can use in the interpretation. There is no guidebook or any kind of interpretation that goes with this. It's very intuitive, and that's one of the things that intrigued me most about it. Because the illustrators are based in the Pacific Northwest, there is very much a Pacific Northwest feel to these cards, which for me, being a Pacific Northwest native, born and raised and still currently living there, these images really speak to me. I don't often pair tarot and oracle overly intentionally. I differ from a lot of other tarot tubers in that regard, but a part of me does kind of want to see what I can do with these cards in conjunction with the tarot for the Great Outdoors. I think that might be kind of an interesting combination, just depending on the type of reading and the spread and how it's done. So that's something I'm considering for the future. But yeah, I think this is going to be a neat little card deck to have, and I'm looking forward to kind of doing some experimentation with it. So once again, this is the Outdoors Oracle by A Nature Unknown.
December was definitely my acquisition month of the year. I brought in 3 decks total, 2 Oracle and 1 Tarot. We'll talk about the Oracle first, and the first one is the Untamed Spirit Oracle. I fell in love with this artwork and the kind of sepia toned color palette. It's really gorgeous. I'm kind of a sucker for animal oracles and plant oracles. If they're well done, they pretty much go on my wish list, and I bring them in whenever I feel called to do so. This one is one of those kind of box within a box situations, except the box is more like a drawer, which is actually kind of neat. And the guidebook is nice. And here's the second box. So it's a tuck box with the cards inside. So it's a box within a drawer within a box, I suppose. The excess packaging is not always my thing, and I think I would have been okay with like a tuck box with that was slightly bigger to accommodate both the cards and the book. The cards are glossy, but I don't totally mind this gloss. It really makes the artwork kind of come alive, I think. So each of the cards has the animal name on top and a couple of keywords on the bottom, but the art is just so pretty, and I just really fell in love with the line work and the intricacy and the realness. There's a realistic look to these animals, while at the same time looking like they're a bit story like. It's a very interesting art style, and I really like it. So I have quite a few animal oracles on my radar still, but I really wanted to bring this one in, and I took advantage of some sales that are offered on the holiday season. And look at that dog. Oh, so good. But yeah, that's the Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle, and it's beautiful. Next up is an oracle that when I first saw it, my jaw kind of dropped to the floor because I thought it was so lovely and interesting. This is the Soul Mirror Oracle by Sunshine Connolly. It's published by Blue Angel. It has that typical 2-piece Blue Angel box, and it has 42 cards. The book is really lovely, and the insides do feature color. The write-ups are quite in-depth. They're concise while at the same time giving you something to chew on. And then we have these random full-page illustrations, and they're so beautiful. And the backs are lovely as well. This does have, it is kind of a matte gold. It's like a shiny matte, and I have a feeling it's going to chip just because of the way it feels in my hand, but I don't particularly mind if that happens. But one of the things that drew me to these cards was there is a single keyword, but below that there is 2 ends of a spectrum. So you have a range, if you will, with one keyword being on one side and the other keyword being on the other side. So it kind of brings in that you could say light and shadow, you could say just polarity of a single energy, but it's something I really like. So there's destiny, past or forward versus present. This almost feels like it could be a sister deck to the Sacred Rebels, and I kind of want to do maybe a little bit of work with them together. There is a lot of the black and white or sepia and black and gray, but then there are these pops of color that just kind of feature randomly, and it just kind of takes you by surprise, but in a very good way. But yeah, I'm excited to work with this one. So that is the Soul Mirror Oracle by Sunshine Connolly. And last but absolutely not least is the deck that I actually wanted to be my first deck of 2023, but it just did not work out that way. But I knew I was going to bring it in this year. It just happened to be at the end of the year. This is the New Chapter Tarot, published by Liminal 11, and it is by Catherine Briggs. I haven't been this excited about a tarot in a very long time, just because of how unique the illustrations are. This is another one of those kind of box within a box situations as well. There's the main box, and then you have the inner box. And then you have this interesting configuration with these random little inserts of cardboard. I have since removed the cardboard because this deck is now in my bag with me with the book. And this is the tarot I am now packing around, just because I have it's kind of like my pendulum. When I first got it, I just felt the need to carry it around, just to have it with me, to just be there, as sort of like an energetic imprinting, I suppose. But yeah, this tarot, when I saw it like well over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly when it came out. But when I saw these images, I just remember thinking, that is for me. In the guidebook, Catherine goes into kind of how she channeled this deck, like through extensive meditations. It's very personal, but yet it feels impersonal at the same time. I know some people say they can't, if they know a deck is very personal to the creator, they have a hard time using it. I don't typically have that feeling, but there are elements that are kind of Thoth inspired. That hermit is so good, just coming out of the earth. The hermit, the energy is part of the earth. It's just so good. And also justice is at 8 and strength is at 11, which is my preferred position. But yeah, this is my carry around deck, and I'm so excited to have it, and I can't wait to work with it. That is the New Chapter Tarot. And those are my last 10 decks and my new decks 2023. Thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, take care and be well.